the theme for the month continues to be life. And the aspects that I've been talking about these last several weeks of Advent, are all in support of a life well lived. That as we acknowledge the faith, the peace, the joy, and the love that is present within each and every one of us, as we allow ourselves to motivate our experience of life from the point of view of faith, peace, love, and joy, life just gets better. It just gets better. You know, I have often said that the practice of New Thought, the adoption of the practice of New Thought spiritual philosophy in my life has enhanced the quality of my life. And it has. It is a continued evolvement of enhancement, and for that I live in eternal gratitude every single day. I'm so grateful for the gifts of the divine that expressed by means of each and every one of us. In particular, I am so grateful for the gifts that express themselves through you, through our entire music team, through everyone who makes this experience so spectacular. And it is all, for me, rooted in a consciousness of love. That's what today is. Now, there's a funny thing that the Unity movement did, and I did not adhere to it this year. What? Well, the nice thing about New Thought and the Unity movement and the various parts of the New Thought movement is that we are not told how to be in service and in celebration and in worship. We're not told, there are no dictates that come from up on high that say, this is the way you must do your Sunday celebration. But one of the things that they have done is they actually rearranged from the traditional Christian path, they rearranged the themes of each Sunday of Advent. And so traditionally, it begins with hope, which we have translated into faith for our purposes. If you want to have a chat with me about hope sometime, we can do that. Most of you know how I feel about hope. It's better than despair, but it is an unconscious compromise with the infinite and has no place in effective mental spiritual work. So we've translated that to faith. And then the second week of Advent is peace. The third week of Advent is joy, and the fourth week of Advent is love. That is the traditional outflow. And in Unity, for some reason, they have swapped the final two. So last week in most Unity communities, you would have heard about love, and this week you'd be hearing about joy. I decided I was going to, buck the trend because we do come from a consciousness of rebellion. This entire movement is a consciousness of rebellion. And the history that was written about New Thought, the development of New Thought, that book is called Spirits in Rebellion. And so I wear my rebel coat with great joy. And yes, I do consider myself a spiritual rebel. So today I'm going to talk about love, not joy, because I talked about joy last week. Okay, that was the whole lead up to that. So love is the culmination of the Advent season, right? And it will lead us to the celebration that we will engage in on Tuesday evening when we join together at 6:30 for our Christmas Eve service. And that is when we acknowledge the Christ light within each and every one of us. And we celebrate the birth of the Christ light within each and every one of us. So love leads us there. Love is a binding force of the universe. It is a creative and sustaining energy. That's how I want to start off in my definition of love. A binding force of the universe, a creating and sustaining energy. I feel sustained in and through and as love when I remember that love is the core of my being. Now, I want to consider love in three ways today. Love is divine essence, love as universal substance, and love as a creative force, the source of all creation. Divine essence. I'm going to start with divine essence. So the divine essence, in many spiritual traditions, love is described as the very nature of the divine. Many people say, God is love, right? What does that mean to you? Does that mean anything to you? God is love? Because here's the thing, if we put God outside the self, then we're saying that love is something outside the self. And we end up spending a lifetime trying to reach that love out there. I don't hold that to be so. It is divine essence. It is the truth of our being. It is the core of who we are. Because in the New Thought philosophy, we have let go of the traditions of speaking of God in the third person and then speaking of God in the second person. We are beginning to embrace speaking of God in the first person because we are displacing all separation, all consciousness of separation. God is the only thing that exists, and that is who and what you and I are. We are God. We are not the wholeness of God. I just want to be really clear because some people get confused when I say, I am God. They think, whoa, listen to him. He's a blasphemer. He's saying he's God. I'm saying the whole of me is God essence, is God expression. There is no part of me that is not divine essence outflowing. And that is true of each and every one of you. You are the essence of the divine in outflowing fashion. And what a blessing that is. Live from that point of view. Live from that point of view. Let go of this notion of separation. That's why we are called unity and not separation. Because we stand for the idea that God, as a unified wholeness, cannot be divided. It is expressing itself as multiplicity. We are examples of that multiplicity. We are the facets of this divine essence. It is universal substance. Love is universal substance. Love operates. Love is a movement. Love operates as a unifying field that transcends the perceptions of physical separation. I'm going to say that again. Some of you may be like, what did he just say? Love operates as a unifying field that transcends the perceptions of physical separation. I've been talking a lot recently about this quantum field. The quantum field is the field of love. And as we embody and embrace this notion of the quantum coming into expression as all creation, that is love distilling itself into expression. And the way that it does that is through our input, our desire, our requirement upon this quantum field to do exactly what it does, which is provide for each and every one of us. That is the nature of love. Just as gravity holds the planets in orbit, love binds consciousness, creating harmony and coherence in relationships and experiences. Can you get behind that idea? Yeah. Like if you think about love as this universal substance, a unifying field, and start really thinking of it that way, allow yourself to truly feel it. To truly feel it. To not just think of love as something out there. I don't know what that was. Clearly, this talk is knocking me off my feet. You can feel it. You can feel it, right? You know when you feel love. Can you describe it? Not always. Because this universal substance, this unifying field is ineffable. Sometimes it's hard to talk about what that is. Just as God is difficult to describe in words, because here's the thing. God is infinite. Love is infinite. The minute we try to distill it and talk about it utilizing language, we have now limited the infinite, and it becomes a limited idea in mind. So part of what I'm encouraging us all to do is to release the notion that it is anything that can be truly understood intellectually and begin to understand that it is something that is only felt, that it is truly understood through feeling and through experience. God as creative force is love. Love inspires creation. Love inspires creation. It is the impulse of creation itself. In my tradition that I come from, before unity, and that is the tradition of religious science, also part of the New Thought umbrella, the founder of that tradition defined love in this manner. He said, love is the self-givingness of the Spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. Love is the self-givingness of the Spirit through the desire of life to express itself in terms of creation. He continues, Emerson, Ralph Waldo, for those of you who are not sure, Emerson tells us that love is a synonym for God. There it is. There it is. Love is a synonym for God. Love, each and every one of us, if we give into the very nature of love within us, then I think we find ourselves in the frame of mind and the frame of action of self-givingness, because we are spirit. And that self-givingness is life seeking to be expressed by means of each and every one of us. And this is one of my favorite ways that he has described love. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. Love is a cosmic force whose sweep is irresistible. Many cultures, religions, and philosophies emphasize love as the pinnacle of human experience, and also emphasize love as the solution to life's perceived challenges. I mean, what if we all just absolutely let go of any conflict in mind, which leads to conflict in experience, and only led from the point of view of love? That's why love only begins our mission statement. Love only. But then you might ask, how can love be a catalyst for change? How can love be a catalyst for change? Well, I believe that love is a catalyst for change when we approach the expression of our innate loving self unconditionally and non-judgmentally. How willing are you to do that? You don't have to answer. It's a rhetorical question. And are there times in your life when perhaps you've walked around and you have found yourself conditioning love or judging love? I will let you off the hook. I still do that sometimes, but I'm working on it. It does happen. But part of this practice, part of the practice of New Thought, is to allow ourselves to become aware as these habits in mind and in heart are unfolding, that we can say, oh my gosh, I see that this has been a habit for me, and I am willing to do and be something else. I'm willing to be more loving in this experience. I see a lot of expressions that feel contrary to love around me right now. I don't know how you feel about what's happening in the world. There seem to be a lot of things that seem to be conflicting with the concept of love is all there is. But if we're willing to stop looking at the things that are presented to us and start looking at the things that we seek out, what I think we will find is that love actually outweighs any of that other stuff. And we can be the example and the expression of that. One of the things I did is I was looking up, what are some examples of love in action in our world? And I started seeking through that magnificent source of all information, Google. And I came across something that apparently is a thing. I just never really considered it. I didn't really know about it, but boy, am I grateful that I have stumbled across it in my own life. You may have heard about all of this before. There's a thing called the Free Food Fridge Project. The Free Food Fridge Project. What that is, it is refrigerators that are set up publicly so that they can be accessible to anyone who has food insecurity, without question, without judgment, without condition. And volunteers donate to the refrigerator. They can donate ingredients, they can donate entire meals. And they just keep ensuring that this refrigerator is stocked all the time. And so if anyone is facing food insecurity, they can come and they can find security through the love that has been shared by people they may never even meet. Neighbors, helping neighbors without judgment, without bureaucracy or barriers. And I had this thought this morning as we are discussing some of the ways that this facility gets utilized, that there may be a place where we can put a free food fridge on this campus. And let people know that this is a place, if you're facing food insecurity, you can come here free of judgment and find something that will nourish you. My job is the job of nourishment, spiritual nourishment, and I think now physical nourishment. This one of the projects of the Free Food Fridge Project, the Free Food Fridge Project. One of the ones that got a lot of attention, apparently, was started during COVID-19 in New York City. And that particular one became a lifeline for many people who had lost their jobs due to the pandemic. And it had a ripple effect, because from that one, people started installing refrigerators all over the city. It is a modern embodiment of the teaching, love thy neighbor. And I think we need to make sure we always add to that, love thy neighbor without condition. Without condition. Love is God in action. Love is God in action through us, as us. If we seek for God to do something, we need to remember that we are the conduit of that God action. And so it is up to us to be the action and the activity of this divine love. We must infuse our prayer work in a consciousness, I believe, in a consciousness of unconditional love. Because unconditional love is a greater power than relying on a more abstract, cold, and impersonal creative law only. Now, I teach classes all the time, and one of the things we talk about is we talk about the law of mind action, and we talk about the law of cause and effect, and that there is a way that you can study this philosophy. The study of New Thought is all about allowing ourselves to come into alignment with the law, and we keep talking about the law, and sometimes I think we do it and forget to talk about love, because love is the impulse for the law to actually unfold. And so, let us balance love and law and infuse that creative prayer work, not just with the rote, God is all there is, I know that that's who and what I am am relaxed in this moment, I allow this to be done, and so it is. Without the infusion of love, that's a prayer that goes nowhere. It's a prayer that goes nowhere. And so our work is to be the conduit, the expression of love, no matter what. No matter what. Pray from the point of view of love, of God, not to God, not seeking love, for it is an innate aspect of us to pray from the point of view of being the expression and the fullness of love. One of those great quotes, it's a refrigerator magnet, I admit, that I have on my refrigerator. John Lennon quote. Of course, I have looked into this. He may have said, he probably did say this, but I don't know that this was coined by him, because nobody really knows who this is coined by. But my favorite magnet on my refrigerator, and I have a lot of magnets, it says, love is the answer. What was the question? Love and prayer contain all the answers we seek. Spirit works through us and as us as the impulse of love. Where the mind focuses, allow the heart to follow. And in that balance, we create miracles. We, each and every one of us. Jesus was not the exception. Jesus was the example. In this time of Christmas, as we celebrate that man and the way he expressed unconditional love in this world, that is what we are called upon to do and to be. Our work is to align thought and action in love and express it and experience it more fully. So how do we do this? Well, I often perceive Christmas season as a time that seems to present challenge. Anyone have a challenge with Christmas? It's okay, you don't have to answer that. Right? There are so many expectations that are set up about what Christmas should be, what it should look like, how it should feel, what relationships should look like, how you should have dinner with your family, and here's all the gifts, and oh my gosh, come on. Right? Get really challenged in that practice. We may get caught up in the challenge of expectations of others and forget that true love transcends all of those expectations. So let go of the notion that all of those expectations that are thrust upon you are going to make anyone express love any more than they will otherwise. You get to decide how you will be in and as love in this world. If you want more love, be more loving. That's really what it boils down to. If you want more love, be more loving. I am going to offer some practices this holiday season. You may have seen this on the internet. The Christmas to-do list. Instead of buy presents, how about be present? Instead of wrapping gifts, how about wrapping someone in a hug with permission? I want to be really clear. Do not just hug people without permission. Shop for food, how about donate food? Make cookies? Well, yes, do make cookies, please. But also make memories. See the lights? Be the light. That is what we are called upon. Be present. Wrap someone in a hug if that is appropriate. Donate food, make memories, be the light. There are many other ways that you can practice. That's just a couple. I always love this when this pops up in my social media feed every year because it's a good reminder for me. It's a good reminder for me. We have the opportunity to create one moment in time, moment by moment by moment by moment. That one moment in time, infused with love, is where love prevails in all expression. Let us carry this love forward into every moment. Let us be the glimmer of love in a darkened world. Let us be love in every relationship and allow love to be infused in the world that welcomes the light within each and every one of us. Peace and blessings. You are magnificent. Let us take this opportunity to relax right where we are, entering a prayerful time, simply allowing this awareness that there is only one power and presence. I settle into the feeling of the divine right here and right now. I allow myself to engage in an awareness of the sensation of this divinity, vibrating as me, as the air around me, as each and every one of us. For God is all there is. Love is all there is. And each and every one of us, we are this love. We are the love of the divine in expression, flowing forth in action in every moment. And so I trust and know that each and every one of us activates this loving presence as us accordingly. We allow ourselves to be guided in and as love in every interaction, in every relationship. And I know that love is healing. And so anything that seems discordant is healed through the consciousness of love. So I welcome this. I welcome this feeling. I welcome this flow. And I allow this to be so. With gratitude and appreciation overflowing from within, I simply let it be. And I affirm it by saying, and so it is. Amen. You are the light of love. I am the light of love. You are the light. I am the light. We are the light of love. You are the light. I am the light. We are the light of love. This may be the easiest homework and perhaps the hardest homework I have ever given. The home practice this week, if you're new to our community, I invite us all to participate in a home practice, to take whatever lessons we have learned here today, what resonates in our heart, and to put them into practice in our expression of life. Oftentimes, I have whole paragraphs of things to do. This week, be love in action, and you get to decide what that is, how it looks, and how you will express that. No one can tell you what that looks like. So that's the home practice. Be love in action.